So here's the thing, man. You know how you say no fighting game you've come across yet has made you feel like your time has been invalidated? No game you've played yet makes it feel like someone can beat you even though they haven't put in the time and effort. That's exactly why I call this fear a boogeyman. Like, the fear is natural. Like, the slippery slope argument is something that everyone's made at some point about anything, whether it's video games or politics or whatever. But usually slippery slopes aren't actually real. Like, just because we're simplifying mechanics or something now doesn't mean that we're eventually going to simplify things down to rock, paper, scissors. And you said that you're fine with simplifying information so people can learn better. And I'd like to remind you that back in the arcade games, people pushed back against the idea of tutorial because they said they didn't have a tutorial to teach them, so everyone else should learn by themselves. And if they kept making tutorials, eventually skill wouldn't matter. It's never been the case that skill doesn't matter because guess what? Newbies don't want that. Newbies can tell when their skill isn't being rewarded, and that is unsatisfying even at a low level. Focus groups have tested this time and time again. That's actually why video games tend to scale down the randomness. Like, all items Crazy Smash Bros. Is fun, but as you continue to play it, you start scaling that down as you learn more about the game. Similarly, games like Injustice with stage interactables have the options to scale that down because newbies naturally want to do that as they learn more about the game. People who are new also want to be rewarded by skill. That's why no video game has ever become that simple. If it did, it would fail. And I guess what I'm saying is have some faith in the designers. Because once again, they know gamers better than they know themselves. And making a game in which your skill is not directly rewarded for the time and effort you put in would be a horrible business venture. Because those do test poorly, time and time again. And I guess that's what my argument is trying to boil down to. Accessibility is not the same as removing skill reward. Any competent designer knows this. But of course, much of the fighting game community are not designers. They're not competent designers. And they don't know this. So they make these wild assumptions. They assume that eventually they will not be rewarded and the games they love will be ruined. But I think it's better if we look at the development fighting games as a development of anything. Which is to say, when we're providing for a new generation, we should seek to make that generation's journey easier and better than ours, while still providing them the things that we love. Like, that's a philosophy that applies to everything, from education to art to social economics. The next generation should have more than we had, yet still understand the core of what we're giving them. The common FGC intermediate thinks that those two things are mutually exclusive, but fighting game designers know that they aren't.